they're also able to process what they're seeing really quickly. You may have found yourself maybe sitting on the bus or in the car, looking out the window, and sometimes things go blurry as they go by. That's because it's taking your brain a second to process what your eyes are seeing. They can do that right away, which is really helpful when they're diving down to get some food. Yeah.
What's the hawk's name?
Her name is Rowan.
Rubble?
Rowan?
Rowan.
R-O-W-A-N.
Rovan.
Yeah. And Rowan here, as I said, will use her amazing eyesight to be able to find her food. Now let's say she sees something delicious on the ground, like a snake or a squirrel. She's going to want to swoop down to catch it. So she'll take a few powerful flaps of her wings and go into a dive straight for that animal on the ground. And when she gets close enough, she's not going to go in head first because she relies on her eyes for a lot. So she wants to make sure it's nice and protected. Well, did you see her stretch her wings there? That tells me that she's feeling very comfortable, so you all are doing an amazing job. But when she gets close enough to that animal on the ground, she's going to reach out with her talons to grab it and then take it somewhere nice and high to eat. And the second thing that makes a bird a raptor is they also have very large talons there. And that black part there on her talons is made out of keratin, the same material that our fingernails and our hair comes from.
Whoa. Whoa. Crazy.
As she's stretching around and readjusting herself, her legs are becoming longer and longer, and that's because she actually has very long legs. It may not look that way right now because her feathers are hiding most of her legs. So she's not standing straight like this on my glove. She's actually standing like this.
Wow.
So her knees are about halfway up her chest there. And so when she gets close enough, she reaches out with her full extension to grab that food, take it somewhere nice and high, and then she has to be able to eat it. And if you imagine if she caught something like a big rabbit, she's not going to be able to swallow that whole.
Crazy.
So she can't chew it. So instead, she uses her talons like a fork to hold it down, and she uses her hooked beak like a knife to tear it up into small pieces. So the third thing that makes a bird a raptor is they all have a sharp hooked beak. Great eyesight, hooked beak, and large talons as well. Nice job.
Whoa.
So the reason that Rowan here is with us is because she actually is blind in her right eye. You may notice that her right eye is a little bit smaller than the left one. That's because it never fully grew or developed from when she was young. So it's actually very difficult for her to catch food. Because you might be thinking, well, Max, if they can see really well, one eye should be enough. But they have something in common with other predators like wolves or tigers or even people. And that is having eyes on the fronts of our heads. That helps us to sense depth or how far away something is. Since she can't see out of one of her eyes, it's really hard for her to figure out exactly where to swoop to catch her own food. So she actually came to us because someone found her on the ground in their backyard. And if you ever see a large bird like this on the ground, and it sees you and it doesn't fly away, then that means that there's something wrong with it. So they called us and we came to get her. And since she can't catch her own food, she has a new life at the raptor center, helping us with teaching people. She is fully grown for a red-tailed hawk. She's about 7 years old now. This is the largest one yet. We got her 6 years ago. Because it's not always easy to tell the age for these birds. And we know that she is a female because in the raptor world, the females are always bigger than the boys. You did a good job. Are there any questions that I can answer about Rowan? Yeah.
What's their lifespan?
Her lifespan in the wild is usually around 15 to 20 years. In human care, a little bit over that.
Does she live in the forest?
She lives with us at the Raptor Center because it's hard for her to survive out on her own.
Oh.
She has her own outdoor yard that she stays in.
Cool.
Do you have to groom them at all, or do they groom themselves?
Groom like their feathers and stuff?
Or like, yeah, like trim their nails?
That would be that's a great question. So her talons and her beak being made out of keratin, just like our hair and fingernails, continues growing their entire lives. So out in the wild, they can rub it on things like rocks and bark to make sure it doesn't get too long. And I can't really do that at the Raptor Center. So we do have a tool called a Dremel to basically cut them when they get a little bit too long. Because if we allow them to grow, it'd be difficult for her to be able to close her beak or even stand on her foot. So we have to get in there and keep them nice and sharp, just a little bit short. Yeah.
How much meat?
How much
Meat.
meat? It depends on the season. Now that things are getting a little bit colder, she's eating a lot more food because she burns energy trying to stay warm. During the summer, when it's really hot out, she doesn't eat that much because she's just trying to stay cool. So right now she's getting roughly 1 rat, so probably about 1.5 pounds each day. But it depends based on the season, also depends based on how much they weigh. We try to get them on a scale once a day because that gives us a really good idea of what their health is. Since they can't tell us, we weigh them to see if they're eating too much and they don't want to do anything at all, which I can't blame them, or if they're eating too little and so they might be a little bit frantic for food.
Wow.
Yeah, great questions. Yeah.
Do you feed them live food or?
We feed them dead rodents, just because most of them are with us because they can't feed for themselves. And so putting live food in with them can just possibly cause injury. So we have a company that sends all of our food to us. So we get a truckload of frozen rats, mice, chicks, quail, and fish to feed all of our rats.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, fish is, would she go into the lake and get a fish?
She wouldn't, but our eagles do.
Okay.
So yeah, we give the fish just to our eagles and occasionally osprey when we have them, but it's rare to get them in the hospital. Any other questions?
Why is it rare with the ospreys?
Hmm?
Why is it rare with the ospreys in the hospital?
They are a little bit more rare in the state, and they tend to move around a little bit more, whereas eagles and other
Oh my
raccoons
gosh.
migrate during the winter, they stay around, so they tend to be the most common ones. I think she's ready for a little break, but thank you all for being a wonderful audience.
Hooray for you.